Alright, welcome guys to another Blender live stream. I'm your host Ozpin, and today I am back from my trip, and we're now gonna be doing another grease pencil stream wherein I show you guys the behind the scenes of what I've been working on so far on this wrestling animation. So far, what we've made here are a bunch of frames, and by a bunch of frames, I mean a lot of frames, for these two layers here. One to represent the cowboy character for this scene, another one for the wrestler character on the right over here. And so far our animation is doing well, and right now I guess we just have to, like, I don't know, trace over the 3D models with the grease pencil for his day and blah blah blah, complete this thing in a matter of live streams, which might take, I don't know, a couple of streams to finish. But hey, I think I'm doing a lot more progress than usual, but it doesn't hide the fact that this will still take a little bit of time. Heck, I haven't even started with the coloring yet. So, with that said, let's just jump into it, shall we? Hold on. Okay, so I think I completed everything except the eye over here. So let me just make the eye right here. Let me put my materials back in place here, and let's sketch out all of this. Okay. Turn off the pressure sensitivity for the strength, and let's trace the eyes. Anyway, I think it's been a long time. Well, never been a long time, but it's been a few days since I've last streamed. Last thing I've streamed on this channel was the Kuromi 3D model I did for, I don't know, for a special thing that I was doing for the Halloween season. I was thinking of maybe publishing that as its own time lapse, but I feel like I don't have enough content in that one stream to merit a time lapse. So what I'll do on another stream is probably do another character to celebrate the Christmas season, and that is by making the other pair to the, I know, the Sanrio group, which is Melody. I feel like I'm catering to a younger audience by making this. I just wanted to make this because I thought that my sister would be into this, but I noticed you guys are really liking. I really like my Kuromi 3D models so far. So I thought, hey, maybe you guys would also want to see me make other Sanrio characters. Although I think I'll stick with just making Melody after making Kuromi. Then I'll stop with the Sanrio characters for now. Because I still have some other original things planned for these streams, and I don't want to make YouTube think that I am now a kids content creator or something. So yeah, we're gonna do some other stuff after I do some fan models here on this channel. But so far I feel like these Sanrio modeling streams is just a way for me to practice a little bit of my realistic rendering. God, when I released my video on my problems with realistic renders in Blender, I thought that would be the last time I would touch the Cycles engine and the default principled BSDF shaders from that point on, but hey, I guess I guess I do still have a little bit of some nostalgia when it comes to making things without the shader to RGB node in Eevee. Okay, so I guess this is already done. Okay, so I guess it's time now to make. Wait, did I make that correct? Alright. Okay, so now we need to make... Get this character up in here. Okay, so I guess... Yeah, we'll start here. Alright. So we're now going to animate the head turn here. And I know it's very slow and dramatic, but that's basically how wrestling promos work, essentially. You need a little bit of that tension to drive the story. I guess we can remove... Hold on. I need to remove first... Oh, what the fuck? Are you here? Wait, why is it suddenly gone? Wait, what? Wait, did I draw it in the wrong... Oh my god, I think I drew it in the wrong layer. Okay, wait. Hold on. Let me fix something. Let me select all of the stuff here that I drew. Control C. Let's paste it here. Control V. And let's get rid of all this. Okay, so now... Okay. So all the things that should be in the wrestler layer are now moved from the cowboy layer. Alright, so now we need to draw the cowboy's frames here. Hey, what was I talking about again? Oh yeah, the Sanrio model I did last time. Yeah, I'm gonna do my melody on another stream, then I'll post a time lapse on this channel, make a couple of shorts, and then I don't know what's next for me. I think I may be doing more fan-made models because I feel like that's just a way for me to just practice my modeling skills here in Blender, because I feel like it's completely lacking right now. Because I look at the renders that other people do. Hello, what software are you using? I'm using Blender right now. It's in the title of the stream. I gotta say though, I feel like my modeling skills are lacking right now. Because I look at some of the people's renders in the Blender subreddit and I thought, wow. Do these renders look awesome compared to the shit that I'm making in Blender right now. So I wanna try and fix up my retopology and my materials in Blender. Make sure they're up to speed with the current times, and hopefully we can improve our renders going forward. Sigma males are more attractive than alpha males. What's that even mean? I mean, I think I kind of get it. I do understand. I do know the whole Sigma male meme that's going on right now, but do people really take that seriously? The whole alpha male bullshit that's being passed around on the Sigma sphere, was it? I don't know. Like just think of all the guys that do podcasts about how to be a man and stuff. Those are the people that I'm talking about right now. Like no one really takes that seriously, right? Cause if they do, oh my god, women find Sigma males more attractive than alpha males. All right, all right. What the frick is this? Is this rage bait? I don't know if this is rage bait, dude. What does it even mean to be an alpha male right now? Like, cause wasn't it debunked at some point? The idea that there are even like alphas and I don't know omegas in the whole human population and shit. I'm pretty sure this came from the idea that okay. Yeah, this comes from the idea that the scientists this is an idea that came up when scientists studied wolves for the first time, and he thought about the whole alpha sigma kind of hierarchy in these creatures. But then as he later studies the nature of wolves, he figures out that, oh, this is actually not a real thing that happens. Okay. Not a real thing that actually happens among living things, you know. Wait, hold on. Let me just make all these things. So I don't really believe in that kind of information. And I don't know. It just feels like a very toxic way to look at being a man, I guess. Anyway, like, how do I even move away from this conversation? I mean, I mean, I really don't mind where I fall in that hierarchy, because I don't really believe in such a thing existing. And if it does, I don't want to be a part of it, because it just leads to a lot of toxic attitudes in our society right now, like some methods of, I don't know, abuse and criminal acts that I don't want to get into. Hey, it's actually there's no but in this. It's just battle around, I guess. Unless if you're doing it for the memes, it's just because the comedy material in naming yourself an alpha male is just right in the wording of all of it and shit. Oh boy. Anyway, I think I've already gone through this conversation before in the past. I don't think you were there though, but all I have to say about this whole conversation is that if you are a man who wants to prove himself, with to prove its masculinity in front of others. I think the best way to do it is to focus less on protecting your masculinity and more so about focusing on how you can be a better person overall. Because let's be honest, guys, I think there's some parts of being a man that can lead to very toxic behavior, you know. Should I really be getting into this? I mean, I guess I am qualified because I am a man, but I think things like, I don't know, if you think about general masculine stuff, you think of, you think of the attitude of being always out with women or something like that. I don't know, or I don't know, being more risky when it comes to your choices and stuff. That seems to be something that's linked towards being a masculine person. Cinema content creators use these people even though they are the opposite of what is Sigma. Yeah, exactly. Although I don't really, I think the one thing I guess I can disagree with you on that is that you're kind of implying that Sigma males do exist when in fact they don't. But when it comes to their definition of being a Sigma male, yeah, they're definitely the opposite of what they talk about in their streams. God, I feel like just talking about being a Sigma male is something that's completely un-Sigma of them to do. Like, I'm talking about it right now, and I feel like I am slowly becoming one of them in this stream right now. All that's missing is just a long table with me in one side and another person on the other side smoking a joint or something. That's like the one thing that's missing in this one stream that's separating me from the rest of them, the rest of these jokes of these clowns on the internet. But yeah, I don't I don't think it's healthy for people to think about masculinity in this way. In fact, I think I don't like it when your personality is dictated by how you express yourself sexually. And I don't mean I'm not talking about being horny or something. That's a completely different matter. I'm just talking about, if you are. I guess even among women, there's also, I guess, a problem with them wherein, oh, because you're a woman, you cannot be more risky with your relationships or something. You need to be pure and whatnot. You're not supposed to go out and shit. That's like maybe a social expectation you get among women, and for males, it's like the complete opposite. You need to be very risky. You need to be very very much in the leadership role in most cases, even though maybe you should probably listen to your underlings more in some cases. Like, I don't like it when we sort of pigeonhole ourselves into how we act based on based on how we identify ourselves in our sexes or gender. Like, there needs to be people needs to be more people need to be more expressive with how they portray themselves as, and I don't mean just changing your sexual identity or whatever. I think men can still like do feminine things and still identify themselves as a man. Like for me, for example, I still kind of like to draw very, I don't know, very cartoonish and and simple things online, even though in some cases when you ask a man to draw cartoons online, they would feel humiliated because, oh, that's just not something you should do as a man. You should do more realistic shit with more violence and stuff. But hey, but here I am. I can just make a render of Chromie all day and think nothing of it, you know. It's not a matter of changing your identity, but more so changing how you express yourself, express your sexual identity is what I want there to be a change of. You know? Because not gonna lie, guys, there are some things that I wish men can do that only women can do on their own without being judged. Like for example, like fashion, you know. I feel like there should be a men should be more thoughtful when it comes to the clothes that they wear, and I don't mean just wearing skirts or something. Maybe do something like, I don't know, be more considerate with what you wear outside, other than the basic jeans and polo or plain shirt around, because when Down's role for an alpha male, Sigma male have a mindset for being mysterious and secretive and use their mind as their tool and focuses on themselves. Okay, I feel like you're going too deep into the rabbit hole when it comes to this whole, I don't know, Sigma male hierarchy, because I don't really know what this is all about. And I'm just here animating shit, man, my dude. Yo, Simon, this is a Starbucks. I'm just here making shit online. I am not that kind of content creator, you know. I'm going into the stream thinking that I'm just gonna be drawing a bunch of buff dudes about to go ham while I talk about Halloween in the stream, and then you come in talking about freaking Sigma males on my chat. That's like that's like the most surprising thing to happen in the stream, and maybe the scariest, considering that this is a Halloween stream in one way or another. But yeah, I don't want this stream to be just about alpha males and shit. But since you're bringing it up, all I have to say about that is, oh, it's stupid. We should probably not make this be a serious thing. Because the more you make this a serious thing, the more people would start to bandwagon into this entire shtick and make it bigger than what it should normally be the size of. Anyway, let me just draw this hair first. I've been into the rabbit hole of Sigma male things. Is it because you are interested in it, or is it just for the memes? Although to be fair though, if you are watching an iceberg video, I can understand why you would get interested in it. Because no matter how crazy or insane a subject would be, not gonna lie, it does kind of get interesting the more you you delve deep into it. It's kind of like watching a burning dumpster in the middle of an alleyway, you know? It's like, it's so crazy and insane that you just can't help but look at it for a couple of hours, you know? I think that's the same reason why, you know, people are into astrology and shit. Even though I don't really believe in that shit, it does kind of get interesting the more you look into the horoscopes and shit. Like, I don't believe in all of it, but the whole lore around astrology and all that shit just makes you want to read about it more. It's kind of like it's kind of like reading a fictional book, but there are some. Actually, it is kind of the same as reading a work of fiction, I must say. Like, you don't believe in the crap, but it's just so entertaining to read or look at that you just can't help but get into it, I guess. Which I'm gonna lie, I can't blame you if you are if you're delving deep into it, because it does kind of get interesting the more you look into the people and the ideas behind the whole Sigma male movement. Alright. But enough talk. Let's keep animating here. I guess since the kids are not here anymore, one rabbit hole that I've been delving deep into that has been showing up on my YouTube recommendations for some reason is on the lore behind this this sphere on TikTok called Book Talk. Because I'm looking into how I don't know, I guess I've been watching too many female content creators right now that YouTube has been recommending me some weird shit online. Have you guys heard of this thing called Glory? What's it called? Glory Milking Farm, I think? Or something along those lines. Like, I saw some people react to this freaking book and actually made the reviews of it online. And the way I see people summarize this book is it's basically just smut for women, I guess. I had watched a video about a person talking about a video of why Sigma males are more attractive than... Okay, dude, you're just repeating yourself. I'm now talking about Glory Milking Farm here, and you're still in the whole alpha male bandwagon shit. Let me just talk to you about this other rabbit hole that I've been getting into called Glory Milking Farm, or I don't know the title. It's just something that came out in my YouTube recommendations, and people have been talking about it online, and it's basically about this whole freaking book is just about a woman getting a job to milk a bunch of monster hybrids, I guess. It's really weird, I must say. And it's not something that I discovered on my own. It's something that I discovered while just scrolling through YouTube's recommended page, and then all of a sudden, bam! It's just there. And no matter how erotic this book is, some reviewers are linking it to some political movement happening right now in our current society, and I was like, shut the frick up. This does nothing to do with anything deep that's happening in in the current state of our world, and you're just reading this for horny's sake, I guess. um, my God, I don't want to get into this. This is just I don't know if this is safe to talk about on YouTube, but oh my God. Oh well. I mean, I guess if you're into that stuff, go ahead. I mean, men are also into weird shit online. So why are women not allowed to consume that kind of shit? You know, just I guess just consume it in moderation. You don't need to act like that when you're out in public, and especially don't do it don't do it in front of children. Those when you read those kinds of shit. But anyway, enough controversy. I want to talk about what I've been doing these past few days. Me and my family recently went trick-or-treating, but the thing about going trick-or-treating at this particular side of the world is that we don't really celebrate Halloween in the Philippines. So I kind of had to go and find an event here somewhere in this country to celebrate Halloween. Well, not really me, but more so my mom. My mom went out of her way to figure out where we can go to go trick-or-treating. And she found this special event happening in this fancy hotel called Solaire. And it was a major trick-or-treating event happening in this fancy hotel. And my mom was like, oh, we can go here. We can invite my little siblings to go trick-or-treating in this one event. And we can, just see what people are up to there. So we went to that place, and it was a very fancy place, I must say. They had a bunch of casinos and golden colored hallways in this casino, in this hotel. And but we weren't there to gamble and look at the luxury hotel. No, we are there to attend this trick-or-treating party, and it was a huge dichotomy looking into this freaking luxury hotel and getting into this Halloween party intended for all ages. Because in this one Halloween party, they really let go of all of the fancy decoration around this hotel and replaced it with a bunch of Halloween decor and things that maybe a kid would appreciate and shit. So in this one Halloween venue in this hotel, they decorated it with a bunch of Halloween themed decor. Like, they had a maze inside of this Halloween party venue, as well as a bunch of little houses that may represent a little Halloween village for this event. And I thought it was really cool, the fact that they were able to reconstruct a little village that these kids can walk up into to simulate the whole act of trick-or-treating. And it was a pretty sizable event, I must say. the whole venue seems to be large enough to contain this one little Halloween village. And these kids get to do all of these like really cool mini games to get these prizes. And one mini game that was a highlight of this one event was a human claw machine, wherein the way this worked was that you get to strap your child onto this whole harness attached to attached to this contraption that can lower and lift up the child. And this is on top of a pit of prizes that the kid can catch, like a ball and a bunch of foam and a bunch of candy as well. I thought that was a pretty funny thing, a pretty funny minigame to get yourself into, because you're basically just letting your child hang on top of this pit while you, I don't know, while you scroll through Facebook or something. It's just a perfect minigame to get your child distracted on while you do your normal things on the side. But as for the adults, I don't really think there's really much things to do there as an adult. So for the majority of the stay, I just sort of stayed in one corner, one table in the venue, and just played Plants vs Zombies 2. Like a lot, I got pretty addicted to PvZ2 the more I play with it. During my trip around the weekend. And once we freaking got out of this Halloween party, we went out. We cashed a bus to Batangas, because we are, because technically it's a holiday right now in this country from November 1 to 2. It's basically All Souls Day and All Saints Day during these days of the year. And I think my mom was excused from her work during the weekend. So we went out and decided to go on vacation. We went to Batangas for this weekend, and we visited a garden. A garden that's surprisingly near an active volcano. So if you guys don't know, there's this thing, there's this tourist attraction in Batangas called Imelda's Garden. I think it's a public space, a public attraction you can visit on your own if you look into their Facebook group. And essentially, it's basically just a flower garden that you can visit in this rural part of the country. And not gonna lie though, it was a really beautiful spot. My mom really loved the flowers around the area, and my little siblings really love the playground that was right around the corner. And I really loved the garden as well, because it was like situated in this ridge that flows onto the lake underneath. So all of the garden is kind of put against an incline, and the architects, I guess, of this garden really had to be creative when it came to how they placed the roots and the plants around this garden. So as a result, this whole garden is kind of situated diagonally in this ridge, and it's a very interesting formation, I must say, when it comes to this good garden. But then I looked at the freaking view of the lake that is available in this garden, and I thought, wow, why does this lake look familiar? And then I look at the freaking mountain range that's like in the middle of this, I guess, lake. uh, and I thought, wow, that mountain over there looks familiar. Why is it in the middle of this lake? So I look it up and I'm like, oh, is this is that Taal volcano? Like the volcano that just erupted like a couple of months ago? Like isn't that like an active volcano right now? Cause oh god, what did my mom just send us to a freaking active volcano right near our faces right now? Cause hold on, let me let me look at this freaking the map to this garden one more time. Cause I could have sworn that this is like near a garden somewhere. If I not like a log garden. This garden's near a active volcano. If I am to believe. Let's see. No, this garden. Okay. So what is this formation right here? Oh yeah. Oh my god! It is Taal Lake, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? Oh boy. And yeah, I got a good view of it. I got a good view of Volcano Island from here. From this from this garden. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Am I gonna die? Thankfully this multi vented volcano didn't erupt at this time of year, which is great. But I think it's just very surprising to be visiting Taal after the news of it being an active volcano a few months ago. But while during this trip, I was able to finish 2 movies during the week, and these 2 movies were pretty much just was pretty much just historical depictions of Quezon, of the second president of the Philippines, which is Manuel L. Quezon. And I watched Gerald Terog's new movie released in cinemas right now called Quezon, and another movie released by another production company called Quezon's Game. And it's such a interesting watch to be watching these movies back to back, because they all depict Quezon, a political figure in this country, in 2 different lights, I must say. So before I get into my rant about how I feel about these 2 movies, I might as well say that I'm not really a person that's really well versed when it comes to my own country's history. Like, just to give you guys an example of how I am so off the loop when it comes to my own country's history. I once thought that the first president of the country, Emilio Filipino Aguinaldo, Emilio Aguinaldo, was assassinated at some point in the 1910s. That's what I believe for the longest time in my head. But then I had a little bit of a Mandela moment. Because after watching the film, Quezon, I came to realize that, oh, Emilio Aguinaldo actually came to live up until his old age in 1957, I think. So yeah, I didn't know that Aguinaldo still lived up to the present moment, up to the point where his body can no longer support his life, I guess. So I'm not really that well versed with with my own country's history. But after watching these two movies, I came to get a better understanding of the second president of our country, which is Manuel L. Quezon, who came to power at around the 1930s and I guess the first half of the 1940s. And these two movies just basically have two different ways of telling Manuel L. Quezon's life, I guess. So, I guess I might as well address the elephant in the room, and that's the fact that these movies are definitely politically charged. These are, I mean, even though these movies depict a very long ago moment in Philippine history, they do kind of have some they do kind of carry some political or controversial weight to them, considering how they sort of reflect a little bit about the present ongoings that's happening in our country right now. But I will still talk about them anyways, because I feel like they have I feel like I feel like they have some interesting things to talk about in these movies. So in Gerald Terog's version of Quezon's life, he pretty much depicted Quezon in the worst ways imaginable. I mean, it is kind of bad, but it is he still kind of like stick to the facts when it came to Manuel L. Quezon's life. And by the way, this is the first movie I watched when it came to the Quezon duology, I guess. And this is a film that came after the two movies in the Bayaniverse, which was General Luna and Goyo. So a little bit of the facts that came from those two movies carried on to this film. And this film depicted Manuel L. Quezon in a controversial light, because in this movie we see Quezon deal with his rivals in the most despicable ways imaginable. He tries to, get the favor of the Congress through, I guess, through controversial means, I must say, like promising them like positions in power if they vote for Quezon in the upcoming elections. And basically just doing a lot of shit that you don't think a good moral politician would do in Congress. And it was the reason why I guess he sort of got Osmeña to be under his wing during his election term. And then there was this I guess fight he has against Leonard Wood. And most of the time when you think about how we got our independence from the Americans, you think of most of what Filipino history depicts of this whole charade is that we did it through diplomatic means. But then you look at a movie like Quezon and you notice that, damn, our politicians back then really didn't know how to run a government. And the movie Quezon really reframed the way we talked about the quote of Manuel L. Quezon during his term, when he said that he would rather run he would rather have the country be run like hell by Filipinos than to be run like heaven by the Americans. like to Filipinos, you feel like you feel very empowered by that kind of speech, because hey, it's like, you know, because even if we run the country like hell, we can fix this country in the long run afterwards. But then this movie decided to portray that message in a different take and think, and make it and frame it as if a kid is trying to, I don't know, beg a parent to to buy him this toy or something. Like, you look at Kazan in the movie Kazan, I guess, the 2025's Kazan, and you think, wow, Manuel Kazan really isn't the most brightest of individuals when it came to running the government in all of this, you know. And I guess that's the reason why the grandson of Kazan, Avenisha, I think? Avenida? I can't remember his name anymore. Really criticized the director for portraying his late grandfather in this kind of light, because there's really no positive thing that came out of a movie like Kazan. They just portrayed Casey, I guess, Casey in a weird, immature light throughout this entire film. And I guess, to be fair, the reason why they portrayed Kazan in this way is because they pretty much focused on his campaign period during at around the early 1930s, and really didn't focus that much in his actual term as president throughout the 1930s and 1940s. So you don't really get any scenes of, you know, like of actual heroic stuff that Kazan actually did, like transporting the Jews from Germany to the Philippines when all other countries denied their entrance into their country. Like, that's one heroic thing that was never mentioned in a movie like Kazan. And they instead focused on things like the fact that Kazan was really into the whole deporting a lot of Christians into, well, not really deporting, but more so like deporting a bunch of settlers out of their own lands during his campaign period, and his shady dealings with a bunch of companies in order to just make more profit for himself in this movie. So overall, there's really nothing good to say in this movie, which I can understand why they want that framing to be a part of this film in the Bayaniverse. Because when you really think about it, it would really suck if the movie would focus on the entirety of Manuel L. Quezon's life from a narrative standpoint, or from a filmmaker's point of view. Because when you think about life in general, you notice how clustered everything is. It would be very incoherent for a filmmaker or a scriptwriter to make a movie that depicts everything about a historical figure's life. So what would make more sense would be to depict a segment of a person's life, because that's the way you go when you want to get good script writing in your movies. Now, granted, when you're playing around with real figures in history, you will have to settle with the problem that you'll definitely settle with inaccuracies in your film. But that's basically just the nature of of making a historical film in general. Because I feel like okay, I'm gonna stop animating here for a second and just talk about what I think should be the way people approach historical films like Kazan. Because the way I see it, guys, I don't think there's any way that we can fully grasp a person's life onto film, especially in a film like Kazan, because it's just so big and so rapid. A person's life will have to be diluted in some way when you portray something in film. And if a filmmaker will try to will try to capture everything in a person's life, it won't really be entertaining if you really think about it. So what most filmmakers would usually do is just try to focus on a certain aspect of a person's life when it comes to historical films, and just and make that, I guess, their narrative, the narrative drive in their films. And that's, I guess, the reason why Kazan is now being bombarded by I don't know, I guess, historians and even the late family of Kazan. It's because they don't really know how films are supposed to work, I guess. Because in the end, there's really no way you can portray the entirety of a person's life on film. There has to be something that has to be cut. And from a filmmaker's point of view, or I guess in a writer's point of view, it would be it would actually be very beneficial for, like, more beneficial quality-wise for a scriptwriter to portray a historical person's life in a way that's never been done before. Like, if you think about it, if you're writing a historical film of a famous person, would you want to try to write the same thing that all other historians and filmmakers would have written about, I don't know, Manuel Kazan, about how he is the hero of our country and all? Or would you go for a different route? You would write something very different that hasn't been said before about this person's life. You'll still try to stick with the facts, but you will try to, of course, deviate from the norm and do something different. Now, with that, what do you think would get more attention? The script that would say all the same things that all other people have already said about Kazan, or a script that would say something different from that would say something different about Manuel Kazan? And heck, it's a script that actually portrays Kazan in a negative light. So when you think about it, when you juxtapose the whole different side of Kazan with the whole negative aspects of Kazan, you get a film that people would really talk about in the news. And I guess that's the reason why Gerald Terog went for that kind of portrayal of Kazan. Now, would I say that's the right way to actually, is that the morally right way to portray a person's life? I don't think so. I don't think that's like the right way you should portray a person's life. But from a filmmaker's point of view, if you're talking about the creative sides to making a film, that I think is the right way to make a film about a historian, to keep it, very interesting for the people. And that's why I kind of understand both sides of the argument when people say whether they like whether they like the movie Kazan right now. I think both sides have a good have a good argument as to why they think this movie is good or bad. As for me, I think I stick in the middle when I say that there are maybe some good things and bad things about this movie, both when it comes to its filmmaking, both from a filmmaker's point of view and and as a film that's supposed to portray an actual person's life. There are just so many sides of it that I just can't say is whether it's good or bad that this film exists. But I must say though, this I guess one thing that people have missed when it came to a movie like Kazan, because throughout the duration of the film, 2025 Kazan at least, throughout the duration of the film, there is kind of a meta commentary about how films are distorting the way we portray the historians that we want to portray on the big screen. Because there's this whole plot line, or I guess this whole this whole attitude that Kazan carries throughout his campaign period, wherein he wanted to make movies about his life, to promote his campaign to become president during his run in the 1930s. And there was a character that I would most likely would consider to be a self-insert for the director. And I don't think people really fought that much about the self-insert. But the more I think about that side of the film, the more I think about how this... The more I start to question why this had to be included in the film Kazan. And the more I think about why this character is in this film, the more I realize that the reason why this self-insert is in this film is because it's more so the director trying to tell the audience that, hey, movies are actually really bad at getting the facts of our history right. And in some way, this film actually tells to the audience that, hey, you should not take this film very seriously, because I'm telling it right now in your face from the scenes, like, how they there are some scenes in the film wherein they would portray stuff in black and white with a different actor and different cast, and these are supposed to portray the distorted reality of Kazan. And then there are also other scenes in the film wherein we get to see the real side of Kazan. And if you're a new person or someone who doesn't really understand the language of film, you'd think, oh, the colored side of the colored scenes in the film are what actually happened in the life of Kazan. But as someone who actually thinks about it critically, I think, oh no, none of these sides are actually real. If you really think about it, because the self-insert character in the film pretty much just says it all. Like, film is just a great medium for these actors and these political figures to just distort the way we look at our history, So we shouldn't really take these films seriously. I must say. God, I feel like I went in a ramble that didn't make sense. But you guys understand it, right? Is it okay for filmmakers to make a movie about a random person like you, or 46-year-old, 46 or nothing is scared? I mean, I guess, I mean, if you're asking my permission, yeah, you can make a movie about me, but all that I'm saying about this argument is that there is some all I'm saying is that throughout this watching of Kazan, I came to realize that the whole message of the movie is all about movies. Actually, this Kazan is actually about the nature of making these it's all about making historical movies and how that can be a weird way to depict someone's life in general, I must say. it's it's a hard thing to grasp if you are watching this movie for the first time, but Kazan is a movie about making historical movies and how it's sometimes not a good source of information to know more about your country's history. So I guess that's the one thing I could say about 2025's Kazan. As for Kazan's game, I feel like Kazan's game is a more straightforward historical film about Kazan. But instead of portraying Kazan in a negative light, they portrayed Kazan in a more positive light, because in the movie Kazan's game, this is not 2025's Kazan, by the way. This is Kazan's game from 2019. So this 2019 film focuses on a different aspect of Manuel L. Kazan, and in this portrayal of Kazan, they focus more on his saving of 1,200 Jews from the Holocaust, when no other country was willing to accept immigrants into their country, because this was at a time when the world was still being struck by a world war and no one had the resources or the time to actually focus on other foreign matters that isn't related to their own local problems. But here comes Manuel L. Kazan, and he was there to actually save a bunch of Jews, because this was, I think, around like 1948, and I think the Holocaust didn't happen just yet, but the Germans and I guess the N-word people really didn't like the fact that there were a bunch of these Jews in their country, so they were sort of now acting a little bit strange around them in their country, and the Jewish group in Germany wanted an out from the country to escape the movement that's happening around Germany at that time. But the problem was that no one was willing to accept them at this time, because this was around the time that I think the World War One was still around, and no one was willing to help them because of the political matters at that time. But against all odds, even though we were still fighting for our independence in our country, Manuel L. Kazan decided to accept 1,200 Jews into our country, and I think I kind of liked the movie. It was this was a much more wholesome movie compared to Gerald. I can't pronounce his name for some reason. Gerald Terog's Kazan. This was a much more wholesome movie than 2025's Kazan, and this is pretty much just our own version of Schindler's List. Just think of Schindler's List, but I guess much more Filipino, I guess. Although surprisingly, there's a lot of scenes with a bunch of Americans here in this film, which isn't really a negative or a positive. I just thought that it was very interesting that we got that a local film production here was able to hire a bunch of foreign actors into this film, and there were also a lot of. I can also appreciate the actors in this film because what's the name of the actor who played Kazon here? The person who acted Kazon here pretty much nailed the person really well. Nailed his acting rig here really well because he was able to speak 3 languages in this film, which is pretty accurate to how Kazon was in real life, because he was also someone who knew Spanish, English, and Filipino or Tagalog during this time. And yeah, I think I kind of like Kazon's game for different reasons aside from Kazon. But if I were to compare these two movies together, I think I just kind of like Gerald Terog's Kazon much more. Not because it's a better movie or anything, because I feel like these two movies are just so different from each other that it's impossible to rank them in the same with the same criteria. Because if you want to go for a wholesome movie, you go for Kazon's Game. If you want something that's a little bit more more daring and more scary, I must say, you go for 2025's Kazon. As for me, I kind of like Kazon 2025's Kazon a lot more because it was just a roller coaster of a movie to get to. I would even go on to say that I liked that Kazon 2025's Kazon is my favorite movie now in the Bayaniverse series of films. Because when I look at movies like Genero Luna and Goyo, which I watched like a few months ago, I could not really relate to those films because I don't know, maybe it's because it was a different political climate at that time. I can kind of appreciate Genero Luna a little bit, but then I just couldn't really relate to what's happening on screen because I feel like they really focused on the time period at that time, which is really different from how we now act in this day and age. But I look at a movie like Kazon and I think, wow, even if this is coming from a period that is so long ago now, I can sort of see the origins of how we act in our government now in this film more than any of the 2 previous films in the Bayaniverse. Because you get these things in a movie like Kazon, like the way we now put a lot of drama in our government, as well as putting a lot of like nepotism. Traces of nepotism in our government can be linked into how Manuel L. Kazon acted during this film. Like even though this, I think some people would prefer Goyo or Genero Luna as one of the better Bayaniverse films because of maybe there's like a lot more action in those films, and I can understand why people won't like Kazon because there's a lot more talking going on in this film. But I think a reviewer that I stumbled across on YouTube when reviewing Kazon perfectly summed up what I like about this film. It's kind of like watching a wrestling promo in WWE when watching Kazon. Like there's no jabs, there's no physical punches going around when you're watching something like Kazon, but you get all of these interesting conversations between the characters in this film that you kind of can't help but be intrigued by how they go about running a government during a time when we don't have our independence just yet. And I guess one thing that I must also say about 2025's Quezon is that this isn't really, I guess, a movie about Quezon, but more so a movie about Aguinaldo of all people. I must say, because I think Aguinaldo had a little bit of a character arc, a character development, or yeah, a little bit of a character development in this film actually. Because you look at movies like General Luna and Goyo, and you're like, wow, Aguinaldo's a little bit of a bitch, right? in these two films, being the one, or at least allegedly being the one to be the assassin behind the murder of General Luna and Andres Bonifacio. And then, of course, he's also the one that wasted the talents of people like Goyo del Pilar. But then you look at a movie like Quezon, and you kind of notice that Aguinaldo, you kind of feel sorry for Aguinaldo when you, after you watch a film, you watch Quezon in this film. Because right now, Aguinaldo has lost all of his power as president. He is now too old to be running as president, but he's still running either way. Because he didn't really like how Quezon is running the government at the time, because he thinks that he's a little bit too much of an immature prick to be running the presidency during the 1930s. And you think that Aguinaldo would go about and actually, you know, try to do his shady dealings once again, because he kind of had the chance to actually do some more corrupt underhand. He had the chance to do a corrupt action in this film, which I guess I won't get into if you haven't watched the movie, but he just didn't. And I thought, wow. Like, even though I don't like you as a character after watching the two other Bayaniverse films, I can kind of respect the fact that you had a little bit of a character development after not revealing that certain aspects of Manuel L. Quezon's life when you're trying to run for presidency. So that's like the most surprising thing about this movie is the fact that this movie about Quezon is actually a movie about Aguinaldo. And yeah, I guess that's all I can say about about this movie, Manuel L. Quezon. I would actually be shocked if this isn't like nominated for some award or anything. And I'm just gonna go out here and say it. If this film ever gets nominated for the Oscars for, I don't know, the best international film or something, I wouldn't be surprised, because this is such a good film to watch during Halloween season. Like, there's really no good lineup of films right now in the cinemas, and then I saw Quezon and I'm like, oh my god, we can. It's like I don't know, it's kind of like watching a Marvel movie for the first time again, you know. It's just so refreshing to see a movie this good in the cinema, and I kind of want to watch more movies under this universe that Jarrod Terog has made. I guess you guys are also noticing that there are some rumors that he is thinking of making another film in the universe, now based on Ramon Magsaysay's life. And after watching the mid-credit scene of that film, I can say, yeah, I think he is kind of planning to make a film based on Ramon Magsaysay. And I guess based on how the tone of the whole Bayaniverse films are going on right now, I feel like how Jarrod Terog was gonna go about making these films is that he will go pick a random hero in our history that people would think is would portray in a very positive light, and flip it over and highlight the more despicable aspects of their lives. So the way I predict that Ramon Magsaysay's movie would go about in the eyes of Joel Terog is that he would he would maybe, I don't know, focus more on the more negative aspects of Ramon Magsaysay's life, if there is any. I'm not sure. I'm not a historian or anything. And then after that, I think he would go focus on maybe, I don't know, Aquino or something. I feel like Aquino would be the next possible step in the Bayaniverse if he is going for the more notable heroes in the film in the in Philippine history. I think he'll he'll definitely, I think he's the kind of person that will skip Marcos because people already know that Marcos is a controversial figure in the political climate right now. So so why make a movie portraying him in a negative light when people already know that he's a negative face in this country? And then I don't know what I don't know where he'll go from there. I'm just thinking, okay, Magsaysay, then maybe Aquino. I think Aquino's like the next possible thing. And then I don't know where I don't know where to go from there. Maybe he'll skip the whole presidential election storylines and maybe go for maybe the more notable figures in this modern day and age. Like, I don't know. Anyway, who knows what will happen. Maybe he'll make a movie about the Gokong Way or something, or some maybe Henry C or something. I don't know. It is the possibilities are endless when it comes to the universe right now. And God damn it, I think I've spent too much time talking about Manuel L. Quezon in this VOD that I am now noticing that I am shaking. My hands are shaking right now because I haven't been I haven't been moving them for the past couple of hours, like the past couple of minutes. Alright, hold on. Let me just grab a snack first. I'm gonna put you guys in the waiting screen. Then I will go back to animating. I just gotta get a quick snack real quick. Hold on. Alright, I'm back. Sorry, I've really been checking chat right now, but I guess while I eat, I can read you guys' chat messages here. If I could write a book, what if I wrote a book about you? Yeah, sure, why not? I mean, dude, why are you glazing me, man? I guess my one request, if ever someone wants to make a biography about me, is If you're gonna make a biography about me, I want you to focus on maybe the the I guess the negative aspects of myself, if ever there is one. Just make it the most entertaining depiction of my life, if that ever comes to shove, you know. Don't just go glaze through my entire life events and publish it as is, you know. I want you to focus on one specific aspect of my life and just run with it, you know. If ever, I don't know, I murder someone, at some point, go focus on that. Don't focus on everything else, you know. Oh god, this is cool. By the way, I'm eating like a muffin, not a muffin, but a cheese cupcake right now. Just to get my energy levels back here. Alright, let me just eat some crackers and then we can start the stream. Oh my god. I'm so hungry right now. I don't know why I'm so hungry. I notice that every time I talk for a certain amount of time, I just get hungry and shit. And if I don't like stop talking, I can feel like my hands getting a little bit more staticky, you know, and stuff. Like, it's the same kind of feeling when you don't move your feet for a long time, you know. You lose all the blood circulation around your feet, and then what you feel is this sort of electric feeling in your feet whenever you start walking with it. I don't know what's wrong with my body. I'm just adverse. I am just really adverse to I'm just really adverse to talking to people for some reason. Like, my body just couldn't handle the act of getting involved in a conversation, I guess. Not that I dislike conversations, but you know, it's just something that I feel sometimes. Anyway, while I go eat, you guys can, you know, grab a drink, drink some water. Because I feel like we're gonna be here for a long time. Anyway, since I've already, I talk way too much about Kazan in this film, in this live stream. I feel like there should be a counter for every time I say Kazan in this stream. But since I talk too much about Kazan, I might as well change this title to "Oh, I watched Kazan right now." Alright. Hold on. Dang, if you guys are just visually watching this, you might be wondering why this screen is stuck in one place right now. Hold on. I'm gonna dump this crackle, guy. Now I'm thinking of maybe leaning onto the mic here and getting you guys to hear the, I don't know, the cracker cracking into my mouth. I think no, I can't do that. That's disgusting, you know. I guess for now you guys can just see me snap this cracker into two. You guys hear that? These are the feta crackers, by the way. So like rounded crackers. I feel like it's the best kind of cracker. I don't like the ones that are like the salt squared crackers. Those are like the kind of crackers that you you give to I don't know, as rations, as war rations or something. Something about just rounded crackers just feels good to eat. There's a little bit a tinge of sweetness to it, even though it's just a plain cracker with no filling. All right, I'm done reading. Let me just drink water. I'll just get to animating. Okay, let's do it. Okay. I wonder, does this head turn make sense? It does. Okay. Okay, there's just some things I need to fix, like add some edges to the ear here, like that, and like that. Okay. One more here. Okay. Okay. Now we gotta draw his abs. Whew. All right, there we go. And then let's make the arm here, like that, like that, like that, like that. Okay. Anyway, I guess cycling back to what I did this past weekend. After I went to Melda's Garden with my family, we went back to Manila and we just decided to go shopping to end off our long week. And we went to like the cleanest tropical hut in this one mall we went to. And I gotta say though, looking at how most tropical huts function, they usually have furniture and an environment. It looks like it's ripped out of like 2008 or something. But then I walk into this tropical hut and it looked so new. And it's so new that it felt like I was walking into a McDonald's for some reason. Like, they don't have a kiosk, but they still they're like using modern furniture, not the kind of fast food tables and chairs that have, you know, metal railings to it and plastic seating with some bright colored seats and stuff. Like, I do appreciate that kind of aesthetic in some cases. But this tropical hut looked really new. Like, so new that I think a Gen Z person like me would actually consider visiting it if he didn't know what the brand of this restaurant is. And it was so weird because most of the time when I go to Tropical Hut, it always felt like I was walking back to I don't know, to a moment in time in my second grade when it's just me, my mom, and my dad taking me home from school and wondering where we should go out for dinner because I just had a good grade in my math exam or something. So we go to a Tropical Hut and we look at all the past furniture from long ago, like the plastic tables and chairs, a mini carousel, a mini horse carousel that your kid could ride for only like 10 pesos or something, and all that shit is what I feel every time I go into a Tropical Hut. What do you think about Run Tree? What do you mean Run Free? I know that. I have no idea what you're talking about. But anyway, Tropical Hut. It's it always felt to me like a relic of the past. Whenever I go into a branch from them. But here I am walking into a new one and seeing all the modern redesigns that they did for this place. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? It's like going back to your home, but realizing that all the paint has been refurnished to a slightly different hue. Like all the walls are still green, but it's not the same kind of green. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's just a weird existential feeling whenever I go into a new Tropical Hut like this one. I'm like, what the fuck? Who killed my dog? And what did he do? This isn't my dog. This isn't my friend. And that to me, I guess, is the scariest thing that happened throughout my entire Halloween weekend, I guess. Walking into a new Tropical Hut, like, oh my god, what the fuck? But yeah, I really dig this Tropical Hut. I can understand why they want to change to a different style when it comes to the way they choose the tables and chairs they have for their restaurants, but I know there's just some charm to walking into a 90s looking tropical hut, you know? Even though it looks very old, you still kind of have this nostalgia to it whenever you walk into one. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of feel emotional now seeing this local restaurant chain change a little bit when I walk into this restaurant. But anyway, sad story aside, after I had a little bit of a big shot breakfast there with a side of AEW root beer float. My mom took my little sister out to get her ears pierced. And I mean, when I heard that my little sister wanted to get her ears pierced, I'm like, what the fuck? Where did you get that idea? Because normally what I expect is that, you know, when you're a girl, you would want to get your ears pierced around, I don't know, like in your teenage years, so like 16 or something, 16 or 18. I feel like that's like the normal age that women are willing to get their ears pierced. Or I guess that's just a belief of mine, I guess. But then I noticed that my sister was... But then my sister came to my mom one time and she asked her if she could get her ears pierced. Now, fortunately, my mom was a very forward-thinking woman. So she pretty much just let her get her ears pierced because, you know, who the frick cares whether you get your ears pierced and shit. Like, you're only left with like a little hole in your ear that's barely noticeable to the naked eye. When I first heard of it, I'm like, what the fuck? I didn't know this is a thing. Like, I don't know what happened within me, but like my natural, some dad instinct was like telling me that this is wrong or something, even though there's really nothing wrong with it. It must be like my Filipino ancestors thinking, oh my god, he's gonna get her ears pierced. Oh, Morgan, get her out of there, you know. This is not a ladylike thing to do, especially at her age. But then I think about it for a little while and I'm like, nah, no, this is fine. I mean, it's not like getting a tattoo wherein it's a visible permanent thing that you see in the mirror. It's it's a tattoo. It's an ear piercing. It's like barely visible to the naked eye. So, you know, I'm like pretty fine with her getting a freaking ear piercing. Even if social standards would tell you not to. How about you guys? What do you think? Do you think a child should get her ears pierced if she really likes to get her ears pierced? Is there some kind of regret that may come in a person's life if at some point in her adult life she would think, oh, this is not looking good? or something. Cause I don't know. I don't know how this feels, because I never got earrings for myself. I'm not the kind of person that would really go out to wear jewelry in any occasion. Nor am I the type of guy that would wanna put permanent markings in my body, like tattoos or ear piercings. Because I always have this fear that I might regret having, I don't know, something like a tattoo at some point in life. Plus, I don't really like the aesthetic of tattoos. That's just, I mean, I don't mind people getting tattoos, but in my own personal taste, when it comes to portraying myself, I just don't think tattoos are my thing. Again, there's nothing wrong with getting a tattoo. It's just not my thing, I guess. But aside from that, what do you guys ever regret getting an ear piercing later on in life? Because I try to frame myself in the, I don't know, in the view of my little sister, and I think maybe not, because it's, I guess I don't ever go to a person and think, oh, you have a hole and you have a little tiny dot of a hole in your ear, you know? Like, I don't really notice that. It's just there, I guess. So yeah, that's why I'm not that I guess I'm not that against her getting an ear piercing. Plus, you know, it's her body. She can do whatever she wants with it. Unless it has to do with drugs or something, that's when I draw the line, I guess. But yeah, I guess, what do you guys think? Is there ever a regret for anyone to get an ear piercing? Or am I just being delusional? Oh well, let me just go paint, outline this character before I move on to the next topic here. You know, the more I think about it, the more I realized I'm really doing a lot of... I feel like I'm more so acting like a dad most of the time throughout my goings in life. Like, I am like the big brother of my family here, and that's basically just a dad minus one. And then I am taking all of these irregular classes in my university, which makes me more so the older brother, the older classmate among a sea of people born in the mid 2000s. So and plus I don't really like playing Mobile Legends with them, because I hate Mobile Legends, so I'm more so always out of the loop when it comes to their own gaming tastes. But I kind of still appreciate it in the side. And I can understand why people would like Mobile Legends. It's a place for them to relate with other people in their peers. The same way, you know, you go out drinking with your mates. If you're like an older person, like Mobile Legends, I think is just our generation's way of going out to a bar. You know, like even though it's like unhealthy for you, you're just there because that's where all the other people are at, and you want to go out and socialize with them. So, um, so yeah, I feel like I'm the dad for every part of my waking moment. Both in the house and at school. And since I'm the one that's always getting the highest grades, I always had to be there to sometimes help my classmates out. And there was one time I was doing like a robot genealogy assignment for my class, and a classmate that I don't really talk about, that I don't really talk to, came up to me, and he's like, "Yo, Morgan, can you help me with this one robot assignment? I want you to please help me when it comes to identifying this specific part of the human body in this X-ray." So I helped her out by, you know, I just googled the answer and looked at some references online to see whether I was right or wrong. And then she came up to me once I gave her all the answers she needs. She was like, "Oh, thank you, Mr. Ozpin." I'm like, "What the fuck?" What's that? My classmates don't really think of me as like their fellow classmate anymore. They just think of me as as just another teacher in this whole community. And hey, I don't mind it. I don't mind it, because in reality I do kind of feel that way sometimes when I when I go to class. I am just the unofficial substitute teacher in case no one is there to help them. So yeah, anyway, I feel like people should portray me as that way, because I'm already getting really old. I don't wanna I don't want people to think that I'm still like a child and shit. So it's better that people know me as the mature guy in the group rather than the immature guy, because if people start thinking of me as, I don't know, a fellow college kid in the group, there has to be like something wrong with me, you know? Because I've been in college for like, I don't know, I've been in college for like 6 years now, I think. Yeah, 6 years now. And if I'm still acting like some kind of freshie throughout the majority of my time in college, I think I would think that there would be something wrong with me, you know? Especially if I start acting like how most of my classmates are acting like right now. Because I feel like a common stereotype that we have as Filipinos is that we are really into drama here in this country. Like not only like TV show drama, but actual drama between families, between co-workers, between classmates or teachers you have at school. Like, we are really into drama here in this country. People would say it's a stereotype, but based on my own observation on when I look at all the universities and people I've met in my life, all of them are really into drama. I must say, that's definitely a stereotype that doesn't really need any more nuance explanation to it. We're just really into drama here in this country. And typically these kinds of drama is just high school levels of drama. Like, I would notice some of my teachers go out to look for our class officers just so they can rant about how they don't like a person's criticism of them online on Facebook, of all places. And they would tell the class officers to announce to the whole class that this ain't good, guys, even if the post that really offended them only had like, I don't know, 5 likes. It's not I don't like drama, is all I'm saying. I mean, I guess it's great, it's good that it's sometimes entertaining to talk about drama, but I don't think it should be this widespread to a point that it starts to interfere with our normal activities that we do in school or at work, you know? There has to be a line wherein drama doesn't need to pass, and I think that has to be on places where we need to act professional, like at work or at school. And that definitely came to our school, of course, when a professor that's not in my class, in any of my classes, but I've heard of this news from a classmate. The certain professor started to announce that he's going to be raking in all of the, stepping up all the requirements that we're supposed to be, that his class is supposed to be having on this certain class that he's taking, because he was upset of a certain person's post online. And I thought to myself, okay, I kind of get where you're going with this, but do you really have to? Does that really have to be the reason why you wanna increase the amount of workload we should have for our students in university? Like, that shouldn't be. I mean, out of all reasons that you can think of, I don't think a reason why you should be upset or you should be increasing the workload of your students is because you didn't like how one person teased you online, especially on Facebook, of all things. I don't know why all of the drama happens on Facebook, but that's, I guess, where all Filipino drama has to stem from, aside from maybe Twitter. But if you're gonna have drama on Twitter, that's mostly in the, if you're following, I don't know, more TV oriented drama, you'd like to know what's happening in Twitter. But if you're going for like local levels of drama, you go to Facebook for some reason. And yeah, I don't like drama when it gets to a point where it interferes with your work as a professional. And that's why when when I had my new phone for the first time, the first thing I did was just uninstall Facebook. uh, because I know that if I'm gonna have Facebook on my phone, I'm gonna be listening into all of the crazy stuff that's happening among my relatives and my co-workers and my classmates there. Now, granted, I still haven't escaped the drama, any drama fully, because I still have Messenger in my phone to keep up with all the announcements coming from my group chats. And, you know, it's my only way I can communicate with my classmates, really, is through Messenger. And still, I can sometimes see some remnants of my classmates making a firestorm online there. But whenever I catch a glimpse of that, I just ignore it, I guess. I go touch grass. I go to Imelda's garden. I go to Taal to to see the state of an active volcano. I go to a nearby tropical hut that is newly renovated. And I watch my sister's ears get stabbed by a person, which hasn't happened, by the way. I think I haven't mentioned the fact that we were planning for my sister to get her ears pierced, but when we got to the ear piercer guy, he wasn't there, so that event still hasn't happened yet. But we are planning to. She is still planning to get her ears pierced, but still. Those are the things that I would do if I ever notice some drama that doesn't involve me. I just walk outside and touch grass, I guess. And the way I see it, people just need to get a hobby, maybe. Or I don't know, talk to some people, hang out with healthy, with friends that you have healthy relationships with. Although granted, when it comes to Filipino friendships, you will definitely get into some gossip at some point. So I guess that's unavoidable parts of being a friend of a person here in this country, but still, just follow maybe my first step. Just go get a hobby, maybe, if you're a Filipino. Alright, let me just go paint up this guy's arm, like that. Oh, okay. Going back to the whole dad conversation. I don't know why, but for some reason people are like afraid now to I guess grow up in a sense. I notice that with my classmates sometimes. Like, even though my classmates are technically in their 20s right now, they still kind of act like high schoolers most of the time. They play games, do some high school related stuff in college, like, I know, trying to convince the teacher to give them a high grade and stuff like that, and skipping classes, and I don't know, just doing a lot of immature stuff. And I noticed that with most college classmates that I meet throughout my years here in this university, and even in other universities that I've went to, where there seems to be this air of immaturity that you get when you meet with some of the college classmates you meet in these sections. And to be fair, I can understand why they would act like that if they're a freshman or something, because these are people that came off of college, of high school and stuff. But I'm now technically now taking 4th year college classes in my university, and yet I'm still seeing some people act irrationally in my class. Like remember when my teacher was mad about some person that talked shit about her online? That came from that basically came from a classmate of mine, and based on my own opinion, I think there are some good things to talk about that you can post online, but the things that she talked about, that she aired her grievances online, is just the fact that she was upset that her teacher gave her a bad grade, even if in reality she actually performed really poorly in her subject. Yet she is still very mad that she got a low grade from her teacher. And I am like, dude, why you still acting like this, dude? I don't like how in college there is still this. I guess technically in all aspects, especially if you're like a person that's now living in his 20s, you're still kind of clinging on to the last remnants of your youth to stay in line with the trends that's happening right now. And my own say to that is, if you wanna feel, I don't know, alive and with as yourself in this day and age, you need to like kind of act your age sometimes, you know. I feel like it's weird coming from me, considering that, you know, I'm doing animations online. But at least try to put some kind of mature twist to my animations every now and then. And I am pretty much well aware now that I have I guess, some younger audiences on my YouTube channel that would wanna consume my animations. So I try to treat now more of my work here with a little bit of some a little bit more maturity to it, even if I'm still like making animations. and I try to give like more thought when it comes to the things I make here online. So I guess I'm technically different, but I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to consult a therapist on that. But going back to the conversation of acting your age, I mean there has to be. We kind of live in a society wherein, wow, we live in a society, guys. But going back to the conversation, we live in a society where we don't like it when we grow old. You know what I mean? Like we always have to portray ourselves the youthful kind of person, because according to most media that we consume, the people that are the most cool and badass are the people that are in their teens or in their mid-20s or something. And it's usually like the elderly people that are always put on the side and don't do anything substantial in their lives, because I don't know, in some pieces of media they just portray themselves as people who are just that have one foot on the grave or something. But I think there needs to be a way for us to appreciate the act of growing older and being more mature with how you act with other people. Because you look at the influencers right now on TikTok and YouTube, and I don't know, like the most popular streamers or content creators right now are those that don't. I don't want to diss on them that much, because they have their own audience that they want to cater to. But most of the content creators that I notice are getting most traction are people that are, very trendy. They're very youthful when it comes to their appearances and the actions that they do on their online. And let's think of like things like what you see on TikTok and how these influencers are promoting are doing all these challenges that requires you to be energetic and stuff. And then you see all these other influencers promoting these beauty products that make you look younger online. And then there are the more subtle ones, wherein they try to make it okay for you to spend a lot of money, even if you don't have the money that you have in real life. I mean, if you are like a kid, I guess you can do that, since no, you can't do that. What am I saying? You can't just spend all the money that you want. That's just not a practical thing for you to do. But it's especially not practical for you to do that if you're like a grown adult, There needs to be, I don't know, some kind of person in TikTok or on some social media site that needs to tell these people that there has to be a line they need to draw when it comes to how you act your age online. Because I can understand why these people would do these things, because they might have a younger audience in mind when they do this content online. But then you sometimes see that these these actions are also being watched by people who are older than the intended audience, and you start to see that these watchers will start to lean towards doing these same actions when they grow up. because being the older kind of person isn't really trendy or fun, but when you look at, I don't know, when you look at the current world today, you kind of need a person that has to act maturely sometimes. We can't just go about buying like the latest Louis Vuitton bags or spending all of our time gambling on some Pogos organization or something. We need to learn to be more responsible with what we do and not just follow the trends that's happening in our current media climate right now. You also need to be more more aware of your health. I feel like right now vaping has been I notice that sometimes when I go to class, I would catch a glimpse of my classmates entering the men's bathroom, and they would carry in their pocket a vape or something. And I'm like, yeah, sure, okay, you can vape because you're like already in your 20s, but I have also I also notice people carrying on the habit of vaping towards the the end of their 30s or something, and I'm like, dude, I hope these people will come to the conclusion that maybe vaping is not good for them. And also drinking culture. I feel like drinking culture also gotten even more acceptable throughout the years. I mean, as always, it's good to drink as long as you do it in moderation. But I feel like the whole other side of the message, which is to do it in moderation, has been completely diminished. Has slowly been diminishing. The more we see, these lifestyle influencers promoting, things like tequila, with guys like The Rock, or gambling with guys like, I don't know, Logan Paul or something like that. It's we kind of now live in a world wherein we can now accept to be consumed by our own desires and stuff. I can see that in my own commutes to my college, where I now see billboards of people promoting these bingo online apps you can just download on their phone. Like they're just not. They're for some reason. There is for some reason a lot of gambling ads going around now along the billboards of my city, or the cities that I go to, and I don't know why that's now a thing that you can just freely promote here in this country. And even when I go to the train, I will also notice that people are gambling their money in some weird casino app that they installed in their phone. And I'm like, dude, it's like a very depressing. It's a very depressing sight to behold when you see someone gamble their earnings away at a subway train to your school. That's why I don't like to gamble, I guess. Oh god. Alright, hold on. I'm gonna go to the washroom first. I'm just going to what's it called? I'm gonna go to the washroom, turn on the lights of my room, and I'll come back. Alright. Whoop. Sorry guys, I'm back. I accidentally switched you guys to the wrong scene in OBS, but here we are, back again with my default PNG on the corner. Hey guys, normally I get to complete a lot of these animations offline, but since I'm talking here while I do all of this, I can't really focus on doing two things at the same time. I'm not a multitasker like most other YouTube artists here. I will try. I'll try to be. I feel like it's just a habit that I need to build up over time. Oh god. Okay. Okay, I'll just hope the noise modifier can block out my mistakes here. Mm-hmm. Whew, okay. Oh god. Ah. Sorry guys, I just accidentally spread the virus here on the mic, and therefore it's now on the stream, and you guys are now hearing the COVID virus entering your ears. So now I therefore infected you with disease. um, Nah, I'm kidding. That definitely doesn't happen. Alright, I just noticed that's almost time for me to end the stream. I have like 4 minutes left here. Oh my god, I should have reserved the Kazon review at some other streamer or something. Because I really spent a lot of time just talking about that instead of actually doing shit here on stream. Anyway, I'm not sure if I'll be able to stream. Actually, I think I could stream. Nah, I think I can. I think I can stream on Tuesday, guys. I had to like double check my schedule because I knew that my college requirements will start to build up in the next following weeks, but I think about it and I've remembered that most of it is just group work. I can just coordinate with my classmates on that so that I can get some free time up in my hands. So yeah, I think I'll be able to stream on Tuesday. We can stream the My Melody modeling stream on Tuesday. And who knows what will happen next. Maybe able to finally get this animation published online. Oh god. Okay, it's missing a little bit of an edge to his nose, so I'll just draw this. Okay, so time check 5:29. It's the current state of this animation right now. Okay, yeah. Alright, so far. Okay, we barely did anything here. We just did a little quick turnaround on this guy. But sadly, we have to end the stream here, guys. I apologize for this. Oh, hello, Daniel O'Brien. Hello. Sorry, man. I have to end stream right now. I apologize for you just attending the stream right here, but I now have something to do, so I can't really extend my time here in the stream no longer. But I appreciate you coming to the stream, but we may have to end the stream today, guys. So thank you guys so much for watching this quick Grease Pencil stream. So far, we made this little animation here. I will add the backgrounds at some point in the near future, but so far, this is what we've made so far on 3D. So if you guys like what you see, be sure to like and subscribe. We'll definitely do more Grease Pencil animations to get this animation up and running. And as always, go read a book. Bye bye.